Hello and welcome to Timeline, the show that unpacks the issues shaping our world and where we get to provide solutions to make the world a better place. I am your host, Sharon Ajay, and of course I have with me in the studio, as always,
Hannah Umokafe Dennis, and I'm excited about today's topic, so do not go anywhere.
Of course. Well, today we'll be talking about a topic that is quite relatable to all generations, and that is modern versus traditional parenting. And of course, we have a guest in the house that would help us dive into this conversation. We'll be going on a short break, and when we return, Timeline continues. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Timeline. Like I said, we have a guest in the house, and our guest is a family psychologist, Oluwatoyin Ogunkanmi. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Welcome to the studio, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me. And the name is Oluwatoyin.
Oluwatoyin Ogunkanmi.
Okay. Yes, but we tried with the second name.
Okay, welcome.
It's good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, just like I stated, we'll be talking about modern versus traditional parenting. And, as we all know, parenting over the years has evolved significantly and, basically shaped by cultural values, societal changes. Even the rapid growth in technology has influenced the parenting style that we have right now, right?
Definitely.
And we're having this conversation to see how both methods have impacted the children and how we could, work together with both approaches to see that, both families produce intentional, disciplined individuals in the society, right, Omoka?
Definitely. And the parenting style that might be relatable to this particular country or continent might just be totally different from another country, another continent. So today we're going to be looking at the different types, different approaches, and of course, how we can get better from them.
All right, let's start with you. I'd like you to tell us the differences in the approaches of modern and traditional parenting style. What are the differences that you could point out from both of them?
Okay, so thank you so much for having me here. And this topic is a topic we really need to keep talking about, parenting. One of the things I tell when I have my conversation with parents or individuals is that, see, parenting is not inborn. Parenting is a skill we have to learn. So prior to now, the traditional way of parenting was you have a child, you raise the child, you give the child a structure, and you give the child expectations. Most times in the traditional parenting method, parents didn't really give that right support, emotional support, compared to the support parents are giving to their children now. So when we talk about traditional parenting, most times the traditional parenting style is the authoritarian parenting style, whereby it's more of do as I say. Why do it because I said so? Without giving reasons, without giving explanations, just do as I say. And, over time, I've noticed that individuals that are raised with that parenting style, they either tend to be very aggressive or tend to be very timid. And they're not able to express themselves the way they want to express themselves because they've been raised in a home where you don't talk, you don't question authority. It's whatever mommy says, whatever daddy says, that is what you should do. Even as far as picking their career choices, I've seen individuals who went to the university to study whatever course they went to study because that was the course the parents asked them to study. Now, coming to the modern parenting style, this is more democratic. And the parenting style used in the modern parenting is more authoritative, whereby you give your child instructions, you explain the reason for the instructions, you give support, proper support in terms of how the child will achieve or meet the expectations given to the child. So parenting is an interesting topic, basically, and as we go on, I'll be talking more about what parenting is and what to look out for in the two parenting styles.
Yes, like I said in my introduction, parenting styles can be very relatable as it regards countries. Now, for a country like Scandinavia now, they do not see traditional parenting as authoritative in some ways. They see it as allowing the children to be able to go out there, make decisions early, also to be able to have freedom to play outside, which the UNICEF has been able to adopt as a parenting style, yes, that people should adopt, countries should adopt. But you also also see, just like you had said, in countries like Asia, in continents like Asia, Africa, you get to see that our traditional parenting style is that authoritative one, where
Authoritarian.
yes, authoritarian, where it is that you do not bring shame to the family. It is expected of you to do as they have said because they are older, and so I can see more than you. You cannot see where I've been to, or you do not have the experience that I have. So away from that, technology has influenced a whole lot of things, and technology has also influenced parenting and the style that comes with it. So do you think that parents find it hard these days to be able to parent their children compared to earlier?
Okay, so parenting now, so I'll look at it on both sides. Parenting now, parents have more tools now to raise their children right. However, there are lots of distractions. So in the olden days, traditional parenting, there must be somebody in the home. Either most times the women, the mother is always at home. So the child comes back from school, there's either the mother at home or siblings or other family relative. But because of the fact that both parents need to work now, we have homes whereby both parents are out of the house and the children comes back from school and it's either the house help that is taking care of the child. Now, the danger in that kind of scenario is that the house help is coming from a home where you don't know the background, you don't know the values that has been instilled into the house help. So your child comes back from school to the house help that might have his or her own values that is not aligning with your values. Now, parenting now, I would say, is kind of easier because of the tools available, but are people really interested in these tools? Are people really into these new tools, into this? Because technology is great. You go online, you see so many people talking about parenting. You see so many tools or how to talk to your children, how to communicate, how to discipline, how to show love. So many tools. We have so many things online. However, are people really picking these things to do? Or people just read, laugh about it, and move on to the next trending story, you know. But parenting now, you have a lot of tools. Parents have a lot of tools now. It's just for parents to be ready, you know, to pick the tools that suits their family and work with it. So, you know, I said something that I was going to go back to what parenting is, you know. So when we talk about parenting, when I started, I said parenting is a skill. It's not an inborn trait. It's not as if, God gave birth to me with parenting skills. No. And like every skill, you need to learn it. So why just parenting is a skill? There are a lot of things you need to raise your children right. So you cannot say you're going to wing it. You have to learn these tools. You have to learn this process. And when you talk about parenting is a process, and a process that involves you raising children from infancy to adulthood. It also involves you promoting the child's physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, and social development. So if as a parent, you've not developed yourself in terms of your mental, spiritual, your social, emotional, how would you be able to raise a child and develop that child in line with what the child is meant to be? And that's why I said it's a skill. Now, modern parenting, you have so many tools. You have people talking about emotional intelligence. You have people talking about eating healthy. You have people talking about mental health. You have people talking about... But compared to the olden days where we didn't have all this, the only thing the parents knew then was how to feed the child, how to clothe the child, how to send the child to a good school, and that was it. But now you have more tools to work with. And one of the things I said, modern parenting is great if you use the right tools and use them well.
The World Health Organization in a report stated that about 1.2 billion children ages 0 to 18 years are subjected to corporal punishment from their parents each year, or guardian or whatsoever each year. And of course, that's an element of, traditional parenting. Now, tell us, how has culture and society shaped the process of traditional parenting over the years?
Okay, so in the olden days, so somebody said corporal punishment actually came from our colonial masters. And they're the ones that introduced it. But in the olden days, we didn't used to beat our children. But because the colonial masters came and introduced flogging, you know, all these corporal punishment, and the society picked that up. But now we're moving away from corporal punishment. We're going more into having conversation with your children. We're going more into consequences, reinforcement, and other ways of discipline. So discipline, yeah, is good if you know how to do the right discipline. And when I talk to parents, discipline is not you beating or punishing. Discipline has to do with you teaching. So how has it? So it has evolved. Culture has evolved. We watch people online. We listen to tapes. We watch movies. We watch YouTube channels. We watch a lot of things online, and I've seen how the wave of, instead of you punishing your child and beating your child, into you loving your child, having conversation with your child, setting consequences, having reinforcement, having rewards and systems like that. And we've seen how these ones work compared to you just punishing. Because most times when we punish our children, there are times the children don't even know what they're being punished for. And that's why I said discipline is not punishment. Discipline is you teaching the child, this is what is expected of you. You've taught the child. You know you've taught the child. You know the child understands it. If the child now does otherwise, now come up with consequences, or come up with withdrawing rewards and all that. But it has actually evolved. The culture has actually shaped it. Internet has shaped the way we discipline our children. So the world is evolving. Like she said, parenting has evolved compared to where we are coming from and to where we are now.
You know, UNICEF had defined what violent child discipline is. They said they referred to any sort of discipline that involves hitting, slapping, you know, and those are most of the kind of style of traditional parenting that you might have across maybe our country and maybe across our continent. But of course, outside of our continent, traditional parenting style might just be totally different from what UNICEF had defined. But then let's look at how modern society has been able to influence, you know, parenting. Is it possible that if I migrate from my country and move to another country, my parenting style will totally change because of the influence of that society?
Okay, so there's a yes and there's a no.
Okay.
So yes is for parents who don't know themselves, who don't have their own values, who don't have their own parenting platform, a parenting style. So most like for parents who don't know themselves, they move to the next country and they adopt what they have there. But if you, as a parent, you've created a structure in your home before you left, you have your family values, you have your family mission, you have your family vision, you have all this which you've already written out and your children know about it. Even when you're moving to the next country, you go with your template because you already have a template you're working on. Now, for parents who don't have that, maybe they were doing the traditional parenting, they're parenting out of anger, discipline out of anger, maybe punishing their children and not teaching their children. When they move to the other country, of course, they have to adjust so that their children are not taken from them and taken to the welfare social
adopt to that country's particular traditional style.
so they might want to do that.
Yes.
But for parents who've started on the right note, so you're doing your smart parenting, you know your family values, you are teaching your children in line with this, your children to understand what is expected of them. When it comes to discipline, you have a template for discipline, your husband and the wife that you're on the same plate. By the time you move to the next countries, you just going with your template and like, oh, this is what we do, this is what we do in our family, and this is how we're going to operate in the other family. But for those who don't have a template, who don't have a plan, who don't have a system, I think that's the right word I should have used, the system, they go to the other country, and of course, the system they were using in their own country was not serving them. That's why they have to adopt the system in the other country.
For that was quite interesting. Well, we'll be going on a short break now, and when we return, Omo Cafe will take us through the social commentary. Stay with us.
Culture connects us beyond borders. It's a bridge between traditions, creativity, and the future.
Culture is alive, shaping identities and communities every day.
Art tells stories of resilience and vision.
Artists blend tradition with innovation.
Cultural preservation creates sustainability and empowerment.
Culture evolves and adapts.
Music and dance unites communities through movement.
And right here, in the heart of our cities, artists and creators are keeping these cultures alive.
On Culture Cove, Let's explore.
Celebrate and preserve the arts and culture that define us.
Welcome back. This is Timeline on More Cafe. Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Sharon. This is Timeline, and today we're looking at everything about parenting. And when we're parents, we hope that we'll give our children the very best as regards the style that we get to use for them in guiding them to become better persons in life. So let's take a look at what's happening on social media as regards what people are saying for parenting style. So this is from Life Coach Speaker. And she says that a parenting style where your child is not allowed to have an opinion, not allowed to speak up, not allowed to be themselves, or not allowed to make mistakes is not parenting.
Absolutely.
It is something else. People have to stop oppressing children to make life easier for themselves.
Absolutely.
Do people oppress children to make life easy for themselves?
So the thing is that it's not as if they're doing it deliberately. You know. So I know I was having a conversation with someone yesterday. I was in a session yesterday.
Okay.
And when we do our initial assessment, there's a place where we ask, "Oh, were you emotionally abused while growing up? Were you physically abused?" And the person said, "Oh, well, my parents just did what they could based on their knowledge." So most times, the parents actually do this. They're not doing it because they hate their children, but that is what they know. They don't know anything better. And that's why we tell parents, we tell individuals, before you become a parent, you need to go for parenting classes. You need to know what it means to be a parent. Being a parent is not just you donating your sperm or giving your egg or carrying the baby. Being a parent means that you are ready to train the child to be emotionally available for the child, not just physically available. You have to be emotionally available, physically available, and you are ready to teach the child the things he or she needs to learn. I know when I started, I said parenting is a skill. It's not just something that you
Inborn with.
it's not something you're inborn with. So for most parents that do this, at times they're not doing it deliberately, but that's what they know. That was the way they were raised. So when we talk about past parenting patterns, that was the way they were raised, and that's the only thing they know. And that's why it's important. You need to come for classes, you need to come for trainings, coaching, to learn to become a better parent.
Just so you don't have a trauma-informed skill.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the next tweet. This is from Treat My Brand. It says parenting skills like patience, clear boundaries, listening, modeling behavior, and encouragements can significantly boost leadership effectiveness.
Absolutely.
Research highlights that supportive parenting traits improve team performance and collaboration while poor. You know, this shows that parenting skills and training children better with an open mind is not just, it doesn't just stop with the children alone, but then it follows them through to adulthood.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I like what she wrote here. She wrote, I don't know if it's she or he.
Okay.
No,
This is a brand.
parenting skill. So like I said, parenting is it's a skill that you need to learn, and it comes with different other skills that you need to learn. Patience is one of them. Knowing how to set clear boundaries. So you know that at times parents will say, give instructions that are not clear, or have expectations for their children that they've not even communicated to the child. Oh, you should know how to do this. But you didn't teach me. You didn't train me. So why should you expect me to know what you've not trained me? So clear boundaries is very, very important. Listening is absolutely important. Because at times parents talk to their children and listen to respond. They don't listen to understand. And listening to understand is very, very important, because I'm talking to you. I want to understand where you're coming from. I'm looking at your body language. I'm looking at the words coming out of your mouth. I'm looking at your body posture and all that. That is me listening attentively to you. But most times, as parents, we just want to listen to give. Is it me you just said that too? Do you know who I am? You know, and all that. But if you're a parent that listen, you would understand where the child is coming from, and you'll be more empathetic. She said modeling behavior. do as I do or do as I say. At times you have parents say, you do as I say, even if I'm not doing it. So you have rules like, oh, don't eat in the bedroom, don't put, when you're done with a cup, take it into. As parents, you should be able to model this lifestyle or model whatever traits you want to see in your child. Whatever character trait you want to see in your child, you need to be able to model this. And that's what this person said, modeling behavior. Because most times it's what we do that our children imitate, not what we say. So if you're telling your child A and you're doing B, guess what? Your child will do B.
Exactly.
Now, encouragement, yes. So that's where, being kind, being gentle, the fruit of the spirit. I think that's where part of that encouragement comes in. And parenting is leadership. Because if you're able to lead yourself right, you'll be able to parent your children well.
Interesting.
I like that. This is the end of our tweets for today. But this is leading me to a question, because you had mentioned that children get to watch you, what you're doing, and then they get to follow it, even though you say, do as I say and don't do as I do. So do you think that in these modern times, there should still be gender roles as regards training children?
Okay, so because we're in the modern society, and because I feel parenting is about fairness and equity, I think there are certain rules in the home that everybody should know about. Okay. So, for example, we should all know how to clean after ourselves. We should all know how to cook. We should all know how to fix a few things in the home, and all that. But for gender role, I know some people say, oh, as a girl, there's certain things you should learn how to do. You're going to get married, you should learn how to cook, you should learn how to clean the house, you should learn how to take care of a child. Excellent. But the husband too needs to learn that. So the boy in the house too needs to learn. What if your wife gets sick? Who's going to help you? So for example, you're living abroad in a place where you don't know anybody. Who is going to help you when the wife is sick? And you need to take care of your child, you need to cook food for your child, you need to clean up your child. So gender role is kind of dicey, but I feel that most
basic skills,
everybody needs to learn them.
Yeah. Interesting. We are living in a world where we have people raised with the traditional, I don't want to use the word whip, let's say method to just be safe, right? With the traditional method. And then we have the set of people that are raised in the modern method, and now these are two different individuals
coming together.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Now I'd like you to tell us, do you think that the modern parenting style, the children that they bring up, their weaknesses and strengths it differs from those that were raised in with the traditional method? Okay,
so one of the things I want us to understand is, I'm not saying the traditional method is bad. Right? There are a lot of beautiful things we can get from the traditional method.
From other countries too.
Even from Nigeria, because most people that are raised in that method, their resilience level is quite high. They're able to bounce back, they go through stuff, they're able to bounce back and say, oh no, I'm going to deal with this. Compared to some individuals that are being raised with the modern parenting style, and their resilience level is really, really low. Any small thing you start hearing, oh, my mental health, oh, I'm depressed, oh, and all that. And as a clinical psychologist, I know what depression means, and I know what anxiety means. So a lot of people use this term when they've not been clinically diagnosed of having those things. Now, back to your question, a lot of differences. Okay. A lot of differences. Now, for parents who were authoritarian, meaning that you raise your child with rules, expectations, and without love, it's going to affect that child. And when I said at times these children are very aggressive, or they could be very timid. So they get to a place they don't talk because their parents have raised them, do as I say. So that they're not able to use the initiative. Now, for the modern parenting, where the parent has raised the child with love, with expectations. These expectations are not rigid. They could be flexible if they see that it's not age appropriate. They've raised the child to express himself or herself, where there's open communication. You see this child more confident. So bring both of them together for an interview. This other person might shine because at home he's been taught to speak up, he's been taught to ask questions, has been taught to be a solution seeker compared to the other person where, no, just do what I say. This person cannot speak up. This person cannot take initiative. This person cannot, it's just follow. What did they say? So their weaknesses are different. And yes, it shows. One of the strengths of the tradition is that the children are very resilient. Very resilient. They're go-getter. They don't wait for...
Rugged.
They're very rugged. Do you understand? Very, very rugged. Compared to the modern parenting where, they are not as rugged as... You guys are not as rugged as we were.
That's an evidence.
Yes.
Okay.
And yes, because they are rugged, they're able to adapt to situations compared to the younger generation where any small thing, they're already breaking down. And for me, I don't see that as a function of either modern or traditional parenting.
Okay.
I see it as a function of the people that raised them. Because you have some modern parents who've raised children that are very resilient. They've raised children who are very adaptable, who are go-getter,
Can think for themselves.
Can think for themselves. So I don't want us to. So when we're talking about the traditional, there are good things about the traditional method, and there are also good things about the modern method. So yes, we have the pros and the cons.
So how can we blend them both?
So
Very
that's
important.
the good. So the good thing is, let's not throw away the traditional. Let's not throw all the traditional method. The only fact that we can throw away is that the fact that the child is not allowed to ask questions. There's no open communication. The child is not allowed to think outside the box. Just do as I say. But in the traditional method, the parents had expectations for their children. They actually set the bar high. Oh, you need to become this. You need to be able to do this. You need to be able to do that. But the bad part was the method of delivering compared to the modern parenting style, whereby the parents are more in tune with the emotions of the child. The other one, the parents were not in tune with the emotions of the children. Theirs is just, I'm sick. No, why should you be sick? Come on, get up and do it. But for the modern parenting, the parents are more in tune to the emotions of their children and all that. So what are the good things about that? Yeah, they set goals, they set expectations for you. They expect you to know how to do X, Y, Z. But let's bring that to the modern parenting where we use also love. We are more in tune to the child's emotion. We are more empathetic, and we are more able to, have children that can talk, people that can think outside the box. And
interesting. All right, we're wrapping up now, but just the last question. Let's talk about the future outlook now. Let's take 5 to 10 years, for instance. Where do you see parenting style? Do you see it sitting with traditional, or you see it sitting with modern, or you see just being like in between?
Okay, so over time, I see a blend of the traditional and the modern. There are a lot of good things from the traditional parenting style. Let's bring them over to the modern parenting style. And that's where I see the future. So there was something I wrote in my book.
Okay.
So when I'm talking about the parents, I love what that person wrote. So I have some basic skills that I wrote that parents need to learn. Even with the modern parenting style, parents need emotional intelligence. It's very important. Parents need they need to learn effective communication skills, how to speak with your children and how to listen attentively. Parents need to learn how to plan and organize their home. They need behavioral management, need to know more about the psychology of the child. A lot of parents don't really understand their children. They don't even know what is expected of a child between ages 10 and 15 or ages 2 and 3. So parents need to understand the basic child psychology and the child developmental growth. Then parents also need to learn life skills. I have quite a lot, but let me just leave it at this.
Interesting.
Thank you so much.
From that listing, you know that it's a very good book.
Oh, yes. This is actually my second book, Smart Parenting.
Oh, interesting. Thank you so much. This has been such an educative conversation we've had with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Well, that's where we draw the line on timeline. Of course, remember, parenting is a skill and you are at the liberty to pick what skill you want to use. Do you want to pick the skill that would, breed very good, active children, or you want to pick the one that would pick very timid children? Of course, from this conversation, you know the best one to pick. I remain your host, Sharon Ajay, and of course,
I'm Hannah Omokafe Dennis. Also remember that whatever kind of parenting style that you choose to pick, remember that it's going to have an effect on society, so pick well.
of course, until next time, see you again.